Hey there, everybody. John Walton here, and very glad to have so many of you with us here tonight on this season ticket holder call. And we're very happy as well to have a long-form conversation of sorts with number 77, TJ Oshie, joining us here for the next little while. TJ, it's not unusual for you and I to be chatting this time of year, but it's usually in an arena. You're at home, and I'm at home. How strange is it for you to be home this time of year?
It's very strange. I definitely really enjoy fall golf, as we were talking about today, about you being able to get out. But no, it's weird. I think when the weather starts getting colder and you start throwing on pants and some sweatshirts, you typically, I'm going to the rink during those times. So it's weird to be home for the fall, and it just feels like it's supposed to be hockey season.
Got a lot of ground to cover here in a relatively short amount of time, but right off the bat, want to talk to you a little bit about what's happened since the Caps were on the ice last when the playoffs ended, the bubble ended in Toronto. It's been a pretty exciting offseason, first and foremost, perhaps, with the addition of Henrik Lundqvist in net, coming over from the Rangers, signing a one-year contract here. Here's a guy who is a Hall of Famer in waiting and now coming to D.C. to be a part of his team, TJ. This is incredibly exciting, I think, for a lot of people who are Caps fans. And I got to imagine inside the dressing room, too. You guys have been firing pucks at him a long time now. He's one of you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think first, I think everyone loves Holtz and wish he could have stayed, but realized that he deserved a certain contract. But with Henrik coming in, I think we're excited. We're excited to see what he brings to the table in the locker room, what kind of work ethic he brings to practice. And then obviously we've seen him in games. We know how hard it is to score on him, how good of a goalie he is, especially when he's hot. It's, you're not really going to get one by him. So we're excited to have him on board. And he seems very fired up to come here and try to win a championship. He just, from hearing stories about the Swedes having more for dinners and them being able to see, the cups on the pictures with the cup on the walls and stuff, I think he wants to be a part of that.
Also happening this offseason, Peter Laviolette is the new head coach. What have you been able to talk to the head coach about since the hiring here? And also, he's got a little bit of Olympic experience too. Have you guys crossed paths anywhere else before him coming to Washington?
Yeah, we did cross paths there for the Olympics, and he's from what I've noticed and from talking on the phone, seems like he's a very, very good person. Seems like a good leader, someone that enjoys bringing the team together and having each other play for each other, and so I'm excited to see how he's thinking on the X's and O's side of things and get into talks about that. But so far, just introduction or I guess a reintroduction, just because we know each other from the past from Team USA, and just kind of chatting. And so I'm looking forward to meeting him in person, and hopefully when he gets settled in, we can grab a coffee or something and talk shop a little.
There was a time with the Twitter feed in the last couple of weeks where, in scrolling through, there was a whole lot of you in Sochi all over again with the retirement of Doc Emrick. I have to ask, when you are so intertwined with one of his best calls and what went on in 2014, it had to be pretty cool for you to see that coming back all over again. It was everywhere there for a couple of days, as well it should be. Your thoughts on Mike Emrick's retirement and being tied with one of his best calls of all time?
It's amazing. He really is kind of a legend in calling games, and when I hear him on TV, you think of, or at least I think of, either a big game or a game in the postseason. So it's pretty cool to be a part of one of those calls. He's so good at capturing the moment and saying it in a way that excites fans, and especially for me, a guy that doesn't watch hockey that much. I really enjoy hearing his calls, and to be a part of one of his favorites is pretty cool. It's really special.
Yeah, it was fun for I think all of us in the Wayback Machine there, and certainly a little bit sad to see him move on, but certainly the best that ever was in Mike Emrick. All right, so we got some questions from fans I want to get to, and this was one Karen Scarfoni had asked it, but I know others did too who submitted for this call. A lot of people very curious on the origins of the pregame antics with, let's go with Tom Wilson, but you guys are dancing around in the hall. You're getting your game faces on. How does that start? How does that come about, especially with Tommy?
I've always lined up over on that side during the, people call it different things, like the half moon shooting is kind of what we call it. And just my very first preseason game, I was kind of going around doing my thing, something that kind of brought from St. Louis, kind of smacking everyone on the butt. And I don't know, Tommy's he's right from when I first met him, he seemed like a guy that would have fun with some pregame stuff. And I smacked him and Michael Latta a little harder than everybody else. And typically no one smacked me back in the past when I was in St. Louis. And then they both gave me a shot afterwards. And it was kind of from then on, we kind of just started rolling with it. And, you know, when you play somewhere for, we've been together now for 5 years, you kind of have to evolve and start, you know, keeping things fresh. And so we mixed some other things in there with how we hit each other, or, you know, we've went to the front side a couple times. And yeah, so it's been fun. It's been awesome. We play so many games that you really got to keep things fresh and light and fun. It's easy to get wrapped up in, you know, the video or the repetition. But I have fun coming to the rink every time. That's just one of the things I do to try to lighten the mood with everyone else.
You know, it's always fun to check social media too, right after warm-ups are done. If you're in the press box and seeing whatever we missed, we get to see that too. Chris Chung asks, this is always a good one. What's your favorite restaurant in DC?
Oh,
you can have
so hard
if you want.
That's so hard. If Lauren and I are going downtown, we're typically going to RPM for the most part. Love Italian, and you know, they're definitely up there with one of the best, if not the best, in my opinion, in town here. For lunch, I go to a little deli here in McLean called Madison Deli. They have this like Korean barbecue steak sub, and I think there was a time where I think I went there 7 days straight for lunch. So it's a great spot.
This is kind of a fun one and topical. Rick Hamilton asks, who are your top 3 teammates you'd be okay quarantining with? Given the fact that it's kind of what we're all sort of been on and off doing here for a little bit. Teammates that would be, and you can keep it positive. So yeah, these are the best of the best.
Okay, best of the best. So since quarantine started, I've gotten into playing video games, really just playing Call of Duty. And so the 3 guys on the team, for the most part, that I would play with are Carlson, Jensen, and Ovi. I'm just wondering if we quarantine together, if that would mess up the internet. So I might have to sub someone out. I think, gosh, it's hard.
I think Ovi would take up a lot of internet bandwidth myself.
Yeah, I'll go with those 3, but I think honorable mention is obviously Tommy. Nikki's in there too. You know, we're pretty close, especially with the kids. Are the kids involved? Actually, that should be part of the. If there's kids, if it's you know, if it's just like me and a couple guys, I think it would be the Call of Duty guys. But if there's kids, I got to throw probably Johnny and Nikki. Yeah.
All right, so Johnny makes both lists then. So that's
Johnny makes both lists. Yeah.
All right, there's your MVP right there.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a rare opportunity for us, TJ. A little bit more time. We're not trying to fit something in a 3 or 4 minute interview. College hockey at North Dakota. You coming out of Warroad and going through Minnesota high school hockey and going to Grand Forks. Some of the best years of your life, I know, and I come from a college hockey background, and a lot of guys that come through the NHL do now. But for you specifically, what did your college hockey experience mean to you? And what did it mean to you to play at North Dakota?
From, you know, kind of my whole career from Washington to Warroad to North Dakota to St. Louis to here, I didn't really have a lot of expectations of where I was going or what I was doing, or I was excited to get on the ice and play. And I can't think of a better place to go in college than North Dakota. I mean, the rink is, pretty much yours. You can kind of use it whenever you'd like. They have kind of some time slots, but it really was where, I went from being a young, skilled player to somewhat more fit, energy player with skill, with a lot of work ethic. I learned a lot of my work ethic at North Dakota. It was an absolute must. There was no one on the team was allowed to give anything under 100%. And I think that carried over, and that's a reason I've had a lot of success in the NHL. And then the friendships. I mean, I talk to my North Dakota buddies every single day. These days on just usually through group chat. And I still am in touch with my coaches, where one was I was playing against the head coach of Philly and Dave Haxall, and now he's in Toronto. And a couple of my other assistant coaches, one has left North Dakota, one's still there. One of them's the head coach. So I'm in contact with all these guys. And I think, I don't know if you get that at a lot of other organizations, how close the alumni really is.
Take me through just the experience of a home game night in college. And for you at UND, it's a Friday, Saturday schedule for the most part. When you're home for the weekend generally. The atmosphere that surrounds it, the band, I mean, all of that kind of stuff. What was a Friday night, Saturday night game at Engelstad Arena all about?
Well, it gets pretty cold up there, like real cold. And the cool thing was, when we would come out of pregame skate, we would drive around the corner of the rink, and you would see a line of like 100, 200 people standing outside, and they're waiting to get into the game 7 hours from then. And the way that I think they've went back to it, the way the student section worked was you got to pick at the beginning of the year, I think through seniority, seniors all the way down. If you wanted your seats on from the student section, you got Friday night, you got to pick between two, because it's Friday and Saturday night. You either lower bowl on Friday, upper bowl on Saturday, or vice versa. And so after that, it was just first come, first serve. Wherever you get a seat, you get a seat. And so all the student section would always be there, start lining up at noon. We would go home, take a nap, get back. And that was when I was like, wow, this is something special. Fans are crazy, whether you're from North Dakota or going to school there. And it really, like the way the rink is set up, how much the Engelstad family has put into that rink, it feels like an NHL game, probably nicer than any NHL rink I've ever been in. So it was pretty amazing, and it felt like you're in the show.
You went right from North Dakota to the Blues. How much, and you mentioned some of the work ethic, but even maybe beyond that, what helped you in your time in Grand Forks, had you ready for the NHL right away?
I think it was the way the team was ran. We were we were in college, and we did some stupid stuff like most college kids do, but we were treated like men at school, and you were supposed to be able to take care of yourself and handle your own affairs. And the coaches held you accountable like I've been held accountable in the NHL, sometimes even more so when I was in college. And that was the one thing. It was, to get to NHL, you need a pretty good work ethic. And like I mentioned before, the coaches, they didn't accept anything under 100%. And that was off the ice, on the ice, being a good teammate, being a leader, leading by example. A lot of those qualities I learned in North Dakota, and it transferred over to St. Louis.
There's more college guys in the NHL now than there have ever been. What are some of the attributes you think, as far as college players in general? Is it learning the work ethic? Is it the atmosphere that's created the foundation for building a strong pro career for yourself and many others in the NHL? What are some of those attributes that you learn in college, not just in North Dakota, but just in general as you see these guys make their way into the NHL?
Yeah, I think you grow up. I think you you go out and you live on your own in a college setting first, right? You're not just going in and saying, here's your rookie contract, here's all your money, go find a place. You know, you live with roommates, you learn how to take care of yourself. And college players are usually a little older, so they'll fill into their bodies a little bit more. They'll get more experience, they'll get more mature. You have responsibilities, you got to take care of your studies. You're you know, you have to have a certain grade point average, or you don't play. So Len wanted to come on the stream.
Say hi, I was wondering when that was going to happen.
Yeah, she always makes it on. Can you say hi? So I think a lot of times college kids come to the NHL. They're just a little more mature, and you know, a lot of the college hockey organizations, I think a lot of them like the two-way player, and I think that's big in the NHL, to get someone that can play on both sides of the puck.
So without question.
Len, we got to be a little quiet, okay?
That's all right, Len. If you got something to say, I think everybody would love to hear from her. What about her and your family's social media presence? This seems like a good time to ask that question, as a matter of fact, whether it be you know, with the kids, I know are very popular. Tell me a little bit more about how that came to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lauren is kind of the leader there. She does so many good things with, you know, kids' clothing companies or stroller stuff and whatever. But the kids, Lila is already posing like she's, you know, some type of, I don't know, older model, which makes me a little nervous. And Lenny's she's got a little personality on her, so I think the camera's kind of drawn to her. But you know, we always appreciate the nice words all the fans have, and all the people that follow Lauren and myself about, you know, how cute the kids are, and they love doing it. So
yeah, it certainly seems sometimes if you're looking at Instagram, they may be more popular than you, but that's
100%.
Okay with that.
I think I am probably fifth in the family on likability. So
tell me about your golf game a little bit. During this time, you know, I've been out quite a bit. Joe B and I play quite a bit, but we don't hold a candle to the game that you play, sir. Have you had a chance to get out during all this? Golf has been an activity that has been as COVID friendly as anything, which is, I think, why we've all been playing a lot more. But where have you been playing? How have you been playing? Who have you been playing with? What have you been doing here during this time?
Yeah, so I probably played probably my normal amount that I would in a summer, in an off season, like once a week. Usually, if I'm maybe every once in a while I get two in 1 week, but that's pretty rare. I kind of jump around town here. We're not members anywhere, so you know, I got some friends with that are nice enough to invite me out, and we go play. But in town here, typically it's Avenel TPC over there with my neighbor when we lived in Arlington. And game, for whatever reason, I haven't been playing that much more than normal, but game's gotten pretty tight over this last little bit. I'm almost as low as I was before kids, so for the handicap. So it's getting there. I'm still a little wild off the tee at times, which it's gonna be tough to get to a scratch when I'm playing that way.
Yeah, well, that's understandable, but yeah, kids definitely have a little bit of an effect on that. I think there's a lot of dads out there going, "Yep, I know what that's about. I've been there." Let's see here. Last thing before we let you go, the hat that you got there, the Warroad brand, something that you've been heavily involved in. A lot of folks in our fan base and others have seen it. Tell us a little bit about Warroad hockey there.
Yeah, so Warroad is where I went to high school, and it's a hockey town. It's if you can imagine the best Friday Night Light story from down in Texas, that's if you go up north, that's what Warroad is to hockey. There's hockey sticks on the water tower, small town, right around 2,000 people, and I want to say there's more seats in the rink than there is people in the town. So it's and it gets sold out for the big game. So an amazing place. I had some partners that that we all got together and wanted to create a lifestyle brand for hockey, because not a lot of that's out there. You know, you get the shirts with like the mullet and the missing tooth and stuff like that for hockey, but not a lot of lifestyle brands, something you can kind of wear and go out and look pretty good in. So we started that, and it started out as just kind of hats and t-shirts and jackets. And now we're getting into the more performance stuff where, you know, I think we got around 10 guys on the team wearing our performance stuff under our gear. It's got some, I really took everything that I thought was wrong with, you know, the tight stuff that you wear under your gear, and I made the best possible thing I could make. So there's something to hold your elbow pad on. It's cut proof on your Achilles tendon and on your wrist, where a lot of guys get cut by skates on their wrist, whether it's playing or guys just jumping over the bench. I think Ovi got cut from Orly a couple seasons ago when he had his hand on the bench and Orly was jumping over. So cool materials. And I get rashes really bad, or I used to. And ever since we switched to this stuff, rashes have been gone. So that was like a 25-year battle of me and my pads and irritation. So that's finally gone. So it's pretty fun stuff. I hope everyone checks it out. I hope you like it. But that's the story of the Waro brand.
Where can they, what's the website? Where can they find it?
So Waro's a small town. Somehow Waro.com was available. So it's just Waro.com, WARROAD.com, and go on there, and, you know, I hope people like it.
Waro.com. There you go. TJ, one more before I let you go. You mentioned upstate Minnesota. You mentioned where you come from and high school hockey. You had a chance to play, of course, in the state tournament every year in Minnesota when you were there. It is what Indiana is to basketball, Texas is to football. This is hockey, but where everybody's kind of on that same stage, where you're coming up from the Iron Range, you're coming into the Twin Cities. Tell me about your experience in playing in the Minnesota high school state tournament. Yeah,
so I think probably to this day, the most nervous I've ever been was my first game at the state tournament as a sophomore. My first round of golf at Lake Tahoe on TV with fans. That's my number one. But other than that, for hockey wise, it was the state tournament, and it was just crazy to be a 16-year-old kid with, you know, thousands and thousands of people watching you. You felt like you're a real NHLer, and state tournament does such a good job. I mean, even if your team's not in the state tournament, typically, the high schools there take like a week off of school, or at least a couple of days off of school, and everyone drives down, and you get your own little student sections all over the rink. And it was really an amazing place, and kind of the first place where I drew a little bit of attention. And who knows, if we wouldn't have got there, I think it would have been a little bit harder to get drafted, or maybe wouldn't have got drafted as high as I did. And so you never know what would happen. But the state tournament was amazing, and kind of like you said, Indiana for basketball, Texas for football, same thing. Hockey is state tournament in Minnesota. Well, we appreciate you, TJ, spending some time with us. If the background is any indication, you might have some dad duties that you need to get to here. Yeah, I do. I want to say just one quick thing to everyone listening, all the fans out there. I miss you guys, and we can't wait to get on the ice and play in front of you. It's the bubble is not the same without, especially the home games, without you guys cheering. So just want to let them know I miss you guys, and looking forward to seeing you soon.